Awesome. I'm gonna go get Derek his coffee, and then we'll party on.
Yeah, thank you.
Hell yeah. Do you take cream or sugar or any of that nonsense?
I can just drink it.
I mean, what do you want? I got stuff.
I'm good. Just drink it black.
Tell him that we're on the air, Derek.
We're on the air.
Yes. Yes.
Shit. Get ready for what's probably the greatest entertainment news talk show out of Austin, Texas. Get ready for everything entertainment news and talk. And now, here's your host, Clint Baker. Hey, what's up, gang? Welcome to another episode of Everything Entertainment News and Talk. Thanks for tuning in to Clint Likes Everything. Guys, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Actually, let's just play this little thing real quick. Boom. That's right. You see that? Go to patreon.com. Clint Likes Everything to support the channel, and do us a favor, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet, and we will be happy to see you every time we come on. We do weekly live streams. We also have another show called Versus, and boy, we'll be glad to see you if you are around later on at hey, you're not Clint either, man. We're having all kinds of crazy stuff going on here. If you're around later on tonight, we'll be doing Versus, but we're gonna start this all over again right now. Check this out. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Entertainment News and Talk on Clint Likes Everything. Man, we talk about your favorite news, TVs, music, all the good stuff, and we don't talk about the boring stuff because it's boring. So here we are. Let's get my my homies in. We got we got Curtis. How you doing, Curtis?
Doing very well. How are you doing, Cousin Clint?
Doing great, man. Derek, how are you, man?
I'm great. I got espresso.
Did you say espresso?
I don't know. If I did, I didn't mean to.
And you didn't. I'm just messing with it. And we got the T800 with us. Arnie, how you doing, Mr. Terminator? How's it going?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
All right. Hello?
The chopper.
Arnold? Okay.
The chopper.
That was weird. Yeah, so great. We got Arnold, Curtis, Derek. We're gonna be talking about all the fun stuff this week. There's a lot of crazy news. There's all kinds of Warner Brothers news. There's all kinds of news, but nothing gets weirder than what I'm about to show you guys. And that's gonna bring us into the first segment. Weird news. Weird news. Man, we got... Holy crap, Eminem is a clone? Do you guys know about this? Eminem is a clone. Or is he? Oh, let's see here. Recently, first of all, let's ask you, have you guys heard anything about this? Am I just weird? Do I just have a weird, my phone's got the algorithm is just pulling on all kinds of nonsense? Or, like, what's the deal? Have you heard anything about this, Derek?
I was gonna lie and say yeah, but no, I never. No, I've not heard this one. It's pretty good. It's pretty believable.
Pretty wild. Curtis, how about you? Have you heard about Eminem being a clone?
Have not. I've heard a good amount of celebrity conspiracy. This is a new one to me. So
weird. I'm gonna look into this. Like, what the hell are they talking about? Okay, here we go. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Curious fan theories have been reignited that are buzzing across the internet, including one convinced Marshall Mathers that Marshall Mathers II, Eminem's given name, passed away in 2002. According to these theories, it is not the 49-year-old who hits the world stages today, but his clone doppelganger. That's just weird. And I'm gonna scroll down to this. Look at this here. Slim Shady didn't remember Eminem. What's going on? Bro, it's a fucking clone. Look, looks like Eminem, but doesn't have the genuine souls that Eminem came out with in Detroit 8 Mile. It's a shame they keep tricking y'all. Even Snoop was giving y'all hints, and you didn't pick them up on it. And rest in peace, Eminem. Eminem died in early 2000s. He was replaced by a clone. There's a lot of people that think this, and there's somebody was like, dude, bro, look at his eyes. His eyes look dead. This is hilarious. Is at the root of the theory is the suggestion Eminem died in a car accident in 2006. He was replaced afterward by an android clone. Conspiracy theorists believe that the new Eminem looks different today than he did 20 years ago. That's weird. The fans cite an apparent change in his face shape from 20 years ago. That's super weird. And that his eyes look dead. Let's go back to this picture real quick.
I'm convinced.
Boom. Is Eminem a clone?
Clint, we're not. I don't think we're seeing pictures here, bud.
We're not. That's super weird. Oh, let's go back to live mode here. I think I screwed something up with this thing. No wonder. So this whole time you didn't get to see the article? Oh, that's weird.
No. I thought you were just reading it. Yeah, but
yeah, no. I was. Good thing I wasn't picking my nose and while I was reading. That's something I like to do.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'm having weird technical issues. All right. Almost there. Almost. Look.
The reason you do
Let's
the
see
problem
here.
with your computer is that Cyberdyne is taking over.
Yeah, it's super weird. Super wild. Okay, let's get back to this mess. So you didn't get to see this picture. Boom.
There it is.
Oh, yep.
There he is. Eminem.
Completely different person.
Completely. So weird. Is Eminem a clone? And of course, this was the crazy article I was reading from Tag 24. So, this is super wild. Is he a clone? I don't know. One thing I want to say, the way we run this show, if you're new to the channel, we're going to talk about this for a second, then we're going to go to the chat and see what they have to say. So real quick, I want to throw a shout out to the chat before we run over and see your theories about Eminem. I got a little thrown off of my technical difficulties here, so we'll do that. What's up, chat? And I treasure these times. It's too humid for me. I'm just reading Bakertown, talking, fraternizing with the guests. All right, get back to the thing. I think my espresso kicked in. I don't know, Derek. I had some espresso, and now I'm like, so Eminem, is Eminem a clone? We read the article, and now we're back to talking. Guys, what do you think? Could it be? Why? Could it be his dead eyes? How do we explain that?
Eminem's always had dead eyes. I don't know. Listen to his lyrics. He wasn't a happy man in his young life. He's probably just tired and old. It'd be cool if he's. I mean, the world needs an Eminem, clearly. So if he did pass on, I think that would be a good thing to spend all of the resources on for the first Android clone. A rapper.
I have to disagree, but continue.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah, I've got some theories on what it's maybe he's getting older. That happens. The dead eyes thing, that happens when the internet and the whole world, when you're a celebrity and the whole world is talking about you and you deal with the music business, your little bit of your soul dies. Have you seen a picture of Dave Chappelle when he was like 20? His eyes have a sparkle in them, and he's like fresh face, and then if you see Dave Chappelle now doing stand-up, he's like, the world has a knack for just beating you down, and the older you get, and the secret of life is figuring out how to be happy and move forward and succeed. But when you're young and fresh-faced, you don't have that. You could take on the world. You could do anything. And Eminem used to have that, and he's still got it, but he's been pee-pee slapped by the universe like the rest of us who are his age. That is the deal, and I think he's doing pretty good. He's still cranking out records and still doing his thing. So, but it cracks me up when I see stuff like this. Curtis, what do you think?
What I think, for all those people out there who are like, why am I taking this math? I'm a math teacher. Why am I taking this math? I'm never going to use this math in real life. That's debatable. However, math, right behind physics, builds the most critical thinking skills. And the fact that a significant number of people in society believe this shows that, yes, we need to study more math, guys. Let's use our critical thinking skills and see if this is like, let's Occam's razor this a little bit and see what pans out. And if the government is using money and resources to clone rappers, we got to talk about my taxes. That's
we got to bring Tupac back if we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest.
We're going to be bringing rappers back. Tupac, and this is a thing that's funny to me. It's and it's confirmation bias, which if we have any young viewers that don't know what the words confirmation bias means, that's when you hear something and you start looking for clues and it makes you believe it. And people do this with conspiracy theories, gossip, everything. And it's really funny to me because it's the same with like fortune tellers and a whole lot of other stuff out there, to where if you want to believe it, somebody could show you clues. You'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. It happens all the time with articles. They get you with a clickbait also, where you see that and then you start reading. You don't even have to read the article. You'll start looking for things that add up to what the headline is just from reading a headline. It's hilarious because like the human brain is designed to solve problems. You can lose a limb and they'll attach a robot limb that has sensors, and your nub will learn how to use that, and all of a sudden it becomes second nature. You learn how to do things. Your brain is like solving Rubik's cubes all the time, whether it's how to operate a robot arm or how to find evidence that Eminem is a clone. And if you focus on anything, your brain will find a solution or a way to add things up. It's really hilarious to me. But this isn't the first one, though. Let's get back to the articles. This isn't the first. We've also got an 11-year-old Avril Lavigne conspiracy. Not an 11-year-old Avril Lavigne conspiracy. It's an 11-year-old Avril Lavigne conspiracy. That's a cool-ass dentist. You have a cool ass dentist? Sorry. Theory is trending again. The conspiracy theory that reveals Avril Lavigne is gone, was replaced with a body double, is trending again. So we've seen this way back when they thought that Avril Lavigne was replaced by Melissa Vandella, which was her. She had a double to help with paparazzi, and so then somebody said she died and the double took over. If you go through history and you look at this, there's a conspiracy theory that claims Katy Perry is actually JonBenet Ramsey, even though she's just obviously not. What in the hell? Is Katy Perry actually late JonBenet Ramsey grown up? Very simply, no. But that doesn't stop conspiracy theorists from thinking it's so and posting videos defending that. What the hell? It's just hilarious. People are fucking crazy. That's all I gotta say. What is wrong with you people? Like, oh my God. Okay, so I'm done with that. What? Any of you guys? Oh, there's one more. The oldest one, quite possibly. I almost forgot about that. Quite possibly the starter of all of these crazy things is this. Is the real Paul McCartney dead? Look, like people have been thinking that Paul McCartney was a body double for ages. They got a look-alike to take over Paul McCartney. So even from way back in the Beatles, which is hilarious. But what do you think, guys? You think there's any truth to any of this weird shit?
There's got to be some historical starting point to this. There must be some king where that happened or some crap like that. Like, why are people like when, or maybe, it's just from movies whenever they recast someone that looks kind of the same, it's like a Mandela effect with that and people associate it with real life. I don't like, this is just weird. Like, I heard the same thing was said about John Travolta. He was replaced with a German singer. And of course it's been said about Elvis over and over again that he hired his body double to take over for him for a while, and the body double was the one that died, and they just had to roll with it. And so he's still alive. But it's just, I don't like, no. I get it when they're dead because you don't want them to be dead, so you want that to be true. But like when they're still alive, and it's like, they just like honestly, like Avril Lavigne's probably like, yeah, people are talking about me again. And it's like, but like, I don't get it.
Yeah, there's plenty of.
This is the weirdest thing.
There's plenty of stories about Elvis where, Elvis is still alive, and
oh yeah.
What were you say, Derek?
I went to Graceland when I was a little kid with my mom, and I overheard two old ladies talking because we couldn't go upstairs, right? So I heard a couple of old ladies talking like, Elvis is up there in his room. Elvis is up there. That's why they won't let us up there. He's alive. He's alive and just hanging out in his room. Okay.
I've heard stories about Tupac being alive too. That he's like he retired in like Costa Rica or somewhere, and like he's living it up, which is hilarious. Yeah, who knows, man? You're right. It's fun. It's awesome when we don't want them to be dead. So I get it, but it's so weird. And there was stories too. I went down this rabbit hole of Eminem, and there was stories too that were saying that he was glitching out, and they showed videos where he was messing around with the camera. They're like there was an interview where they're like saying, that's what it's like living in your head, or the fans are living in your head. And he's like, wait, did you say living in my head, or I'm living in the fans' head? And they're like, I don't know, I like that better. They kind of got into a weird conversation about it. It was like, I don't know, they don't want to live in my head. And then he looks at the camera and he did a thing where he goes, that's it like just does this glitchy, like he's glitching, and just kept staring at the camera, and he was just being a weirdo mess. He was like, you don't want to live in my head. And and the headline under that, like, see, he's Android. He's an Android, and he was glitching out because he could have just stared at the camera like this for like 30 seconds.
You can't blame the stupid people, okay? But you can blame the people that are preying on the stupid people. That's wrong. Like, the stupid people will always exist. They always have existed. They will continue to exist, but the people that are preying on them, that's who we need to get mad at. Don't get mad at the stupids.
I actually took a screenshot and it's the one on the left that has got the blonde hair. That's him where he's glitching out. Check this out.
He's glitching, yeah.
Yeah, he just held the pose and kept staring at the camera, and they're like, dude, he's a droid. He's glitching. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. I didn't plan to spend this much time, but I also didn't plan to have technical difficulties in the beginning. So, So anyway, what do you guys in the chat think? Let's talk to the chat, man. I miss you guys.
Yeah.
We got Jedi Master EJ. We got Phil is back. Phil is back. Paul is dead, and Phil is back from the dead. Dude, Phil, I'm so glad to have you commenting on the show and have you here. Phil, one of my good friends, and he was I won't give your personal business, but you've been out of commission for a minute, and I'm glad you're back and up and at 'em. So, yeah. Phil says McCartney is a body double. Of course. We got Jedi Master EJ and Bobby in the house.
Got Charlie Wilson. Welcome, Charlie.
Charlie, what's up, dude? Yeah, we're gonna get into some DC stuff here in a little bit. The DC stuff hurts your head. Tupac was in 3D. Oh yeah, we did see Tupac in 3D. Maybe he was just there.
There?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like.
If I pry the switch out of my son's hands. Right. Well, let's get to...
Yeah, Bobby's been winning some Mario Kart tournament for a while, and
we need to make that happen. Ready for some Mario Kart? What are we doing, man? Yeah, we need to figure out a day that's not Friday afternoon and have like a Mario Kart tournament.
Yeah, I talked to James about setting it up because I don't know how we would record it and all that stuff. So, but yeah, we got to figure out how.
We will find a way. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to the next thing. I saw Bullet Train. I loved Bullet Train. Let's see here. Bullet Train. This was a good movie. It's got like Guy Ritchie action and banter with a Tarantino kind of mystique. And it's got kind of the fun and levity of like Ocean's 11 or something. You know what I mean? It's just like you got a whole bunch of cameos, and like it was just fun. The whole thing front to back. I'm not giving any spoilers or anything, but if you like Guy Ritchie films and that kind of action dynamic and just quirky like that, with a little bit of a weird mystique, the way that Tarantino movies have a weird background, or like samurai culture mixed in, or something, things like that. You'll enjoy this movie. It was tons of fun. Did the movie change my life? No, but few do. But I have fun with a lot of movies, and this is one movie I was glad I saw in the theater, because it's full of tons of crazy action on this fast moving train. And the token thing to say is that this like Snowpiercer meets blah blah blah, because the only train movie anybody could think of is Snowpiercer. So everybody out there's like, it's like Snowpiercer meets Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Like I'm not gonna say Snowpiercer because I don't want to say that. So I'm not saying that, but I will say it's fucking really fun. So go check that out. Any of you guys seen Bullet Train yet?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Dude, go see it. It's really good. Curtis?
Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm definitely going to. My girlfriend's in it, so I gotta go.
Your girlfriend's in
it. I wish.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about Zazie Beetz?
Yeah. I'm talking about Zazie Beetz.
What are you talking about?
No.
Oh, we got some drama up in here.
It's got a funny vibe of like Domino, in Deadpool. How she's just got dumb luck where things just work out for her. There's a little element of that in that movie too. Speaking of Zazie Beetz and Domino, so it's really fun. It's a fun movie all the way through, and yeah, go check it out. Now I want to move. Go ahead, Chris. I'm trying to move this along because we kind of talked about Eminem for a long time. But what were we gonna say?
I haven't seen it yet. But in a good 3 to 6 months, get ready for Snowpiercer versus Bullet Train on Versus.
Woo!
Oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about. That is good. That's actually excellent. I was gonna do like Murder on the Orient Express versus Snowpiercer.
I still think we should do Willy Wonka versus Snowpiercer, because supposedly it's a sequel to Willy Wonka.
Really?
There's a fan theory, yeah, and if you watch it, it's pretty interesting.
Is Eminem's clone in the movie?
No, Avril Lavigne's is, but she just makes a cameo. So.
Guys in the chat, go check out Bullet Train if you haven't seen it yet. Now let's move on to something that I know Curtis and I both saw. And I don't know if you saw this, Derek. I didn't get to ask if you saw it yet. But man, Prey, which is another Predator movie. Excuse me. I'm looking at Arnold. Terminator. What do you think about this movie?
The original version was better. This one was okay, but come on, let's be serious. Mine was better.
You're a fool. You're a fool, Arnie. Prey was awesome. Here's a look. She's awesome, and that she does a great job. And I was kind of weird about this movie at first when I first heard about it, and then I started thinking, man, this maybe is cool. I don't know, but something about the immersing you in like the life of Native Americans and also like back then. This takes place in the 1700s, so this is like 300 years ago, and they're just living life. And it also shows how the indigenous people are badass warriors and just hunters and running around, and like, you know, if there's they figure out there's a bear out in the woods, they got to go kill it with their bare hands, get it? And primitive weapons and stuff, and so they really are badass warriors. So the idea to me that the Predator would come down and take a go at these guys, I don't know if he knew what he was getting his hands on. It was a really fun movie. Curtis, what do you think about it? What do you got to say?
this movie was freaking awesome, boy. This is, I mean, I need to rewatch Predators because it was my favorite Predator sequel for a while. But this one, I think, as of right now, beats it. This it was just a damn good movie. I mean, no spoilers. But it's just very good. Yeah, I do like the Native American, part where they show their life and stuff like that. And it's not my favorite Predator look, but it's still good. I will say I thought the ending was a little convenient. I'm not going to say what the ending was, like the overall ending, but it was just. I mean, it was just a really good movie. I mean, I thought it was really really good. All of the characters you become invested in, and the Predator keeps it on an even keel weapon wise. It's not like he just goes out there. Of course, like if he went out there with his laser and was just like pew, 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 like done. Okay, he wins. So that's what's cool about it. Since he's a honored hunter, he keeps it on an even keel. If they use knives, he uses knives. If they use projectiles, he uses projectiles. It's like he keeps it even. So it's a really good movie. It's on Hulu. If you got Hulu, free movie, and it's a damn good one.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't know. We're not spoiling anything, but if you, Curtis, just to rebuttal what you just said in the Vegas way possible, you'll notice that girl is perceptive the entire movie. So
I know,
and
yeah,
so and that's why she's
her.
such a good tracker and all that. We're gonna talk. We'll talk about this more in about a week, maybe. We'll come back and if you want to break it down, or actually, let's just do sometime this week. You and I will do a review and we'll put it out as a solo video. We'll review this and where we can just fight. We can just get bare knuckles and fight about this whole thing.
We're not going to fight too much, but there's just certain,
You're also 2.5 hours away. We can't get bare knuckles with about anything. Just kidding. You're in the studio right here. Oh, right here.
Hey, bud. Nope. There it is.
There you go. Oh, that was nice. And right down, right here. Fist bump. Yeah. All right. That was awesome. Well, let's move on to more. Let's see. What were you going to say? Have you
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I didn't know it was out already.
Dude, it came out at midnight. So it's just Curtis and I have been waiting for this movie for weeks. Like we've been talking about it for weeks. How about you guys in the chat? Anybody see Prey yet? Let's get in there. Looks super fun, says Phil. Want to see that too. Yeah, it is, man. It's good. Nobody else? Okay. Well, let's move on then. Fine, guys. Let's see what else we got. That's it. That's the whole show.
They're all still thinking about Stranger Things.
In what would mark his first acting job at a major studio movie, two-time UFC champion Conor McGregor is set to join Jake Gyllenhaal in Prime Video's new reimagining of the classic 80s action pick Roadhouse. The new take follows a former UFC fighter, Jake Gyllenhaal, who takes a job as a bouncer at a rough-and-tumble roadhouse in the Florida Keys, but soon discovers that not everything is what it seems in this tropical paradise. While exact details behind who McGregor will be playing are unknown, sources made it clear that he would be playing an original character and not himself in this project. Because you know how sometimes celebrity people would be themselves in a movie. The Amazon original movie is set to go into production in the Dominican Republic this month. Wow. Dude, did I just skip a whole lot? No, that's it. What do you think about this stuff, gang? What do you think?
Go with Derek first. Derek, what do you think about this?
I'm tired of remakes. But maybe they can get Conor McGregor to be in the Dirty Dancing sequel, and then we can get Conor McGregor to be in all of the Swayze remakes.
He's not actually playing the Swayze part. That's going to be Jake Gyllenhaal.
It doesn't matter. He's just in them all. He's just in them all as the same character, and it's going to be the Swayze remake cinematic universe with Conor McGregor in it.
Dude, I'm in. I'm in. Curtis, what do you think? Now, real quick, I just saw a comment. I know but I'm gonna throw Phil's comment up here real quick because you'll appreciate it. Nope. Roadhouse is a classic. Trash. I just is classic trash. I just watched it since hospital TV was limited. So he also watched Terminator like 4 times.
That's good.
That's good. Like, what do you think, Curtis? I was as soon as I saw this, I was like, dude, I think Curtis just got diarrhea, like from the snooze. like you're gonna replace Swayze with Jake Gyllenhaal.
So I think everybody has kind of like there's a lot of problems with this right now, and I think I can fix it. I think I've found the formula to fix it because everybody's kind of just voiced the same opinions. You know, Derek was like, I don't like remakes. I'm tired of remakes. I am too. Phil was like, just call it something else. Fair point. Like, that's the thing. And so here's what I say, Amazon Originals, if you're listening. Okay. Just call it Roadhouses. All right. Roadhouses. And you can make spin-off or sequel after sequel. And here's the thing. You acknowledge the original. And all you got to do is have one scene where they're in the bar in Florida and Jake Gyllenhaal's whooping ass or something like that. And, there's somebody from the original movie sitting at the bar or something like that, and he's like, oh, he's good, but he's no John Dalton, you know. And then bam, John Dalton exists in this universe. The original existed in this universe, and it's like a sequel, but a separate story sequel. And you could even have a shared universe at the end, like, you know, make another one. So this is Roadhouse, Florida Keys. The original was in Jasper, Missouri. Okay. This one's Roadhouse, Florida Keys. Then you can make another one that's like Roadhouse, Gulf Coast. That'd be awesome. Like, yeah, bring it down here. You know, Roadhouse, you know, California. And then make 2 or 3 of those. And then it's like an Avengers style thing where you get Gyllenhaal and whoever in the other ones. Like, there's a bar in Thailand that's just fucking bonkers. And they got to bring all the best of the best to get this thing locked down. And they're fighting, like, you know, TIE fighters and all kind of stuff like that. Like, boom, you're done. You're acknowledging the original. You're saying this is a sequel. The original exists. And then in the sequel, you have somebody say, he's no John Dalton, because nobody's going to replace the Sways. You acknowledge the Sways, you give him his cred, and you move on. Roadhouses.
That is genius. That's genius. And also we still, like, Sam Elliott's still alive. So once you get on this could turn into like the next Fast series, you know, a franchise. Once you move on where they got the ultimate after they have multiple episodes, multiple movies, then and you make them ridiculous, like make them awesome, you know? And like once you do that, it'll be like and you know they're gonna have Transporter. Jason Statham's gonna be in one of them. You gotta have him in one of them. But then you have Sam Elliott come together.
He's the Nick Fury.
He's the one who exactly. He puts the team together, and they go take out the ultimate Roadhouse. That's what you call it, the ultimate Roadhouse.
Didn't he die though in the original?
R10.
Did he?
Did he die?
I thought he got killed.
He got all blowed up.
But he didn't die. That's the magic. He didn't die.
Did we see him die?
He died.
Did we see him?
No.
It was like an off-screen death, but his corpse was on the bar. I've watched it once.
Bobby said, "Get the guy from Perfect Weapon, Jeff Speakman." You know, this has to be a coincidence, or you know that we're doing Perfect Weapon later today. Perfect Weapon. If you haven't seen that movie, Jeff Speakman's the man. He definitely has to be in it. Yeah, make sure you tune in. In 8 o'clock, in 2 hours, basically, we'll be talking about Perfect Weapon, and there's another movie. What was the other movie?
The other movie is Stone Cold with Brian fucking Bosworth.
Stone fucking Cold, dude. I was watching another show earlier, and Robert Meyer Burnett was like, he brought up Stone Cold. He was like Stone Cold, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah. So I got excited.
And
awesome.
I'm sorry, I got to bring up a point real quick. Phil makes a perfect point. That's when you use Swayze's clone. If we live in a society that has cloned Eminem and not Patrick Swayze, I'm done here. Okay, I'm out. Because of all the people to clone, if we have cloning technology and it's that indistinguishable, and you haven't cloned Patrick Swayze yet, we're just fuck this. Like, what are we doing here? What are we even doing here?
What?
Like, this is stupid.
Maybe that's what they were going to do. Maybe that's how they were going to do Dirty Dancing sequel. Maybe it's just going to be Conor McGregor. I don't know. Derek. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to the next thing. Connected to Yellowstone. I don't know if you guys have watched Yellowstone, but
no, I've heard it's awesome. I need to check it out.
Yeah, me too. Let's see here. All right, so we got Prairie Roadhouse. Oh yeah. We got to do this. According to our trusted and proven sources of Giant Freaking Robot, the Taika Waititi Star Wars movie has grounded to a standstill and is now in development hell. Development hell is a loose term for the purgatory that film projects go to when they stop progressing forward towards production for various reasons. Taika Waititi's theoretical Star Wars project could have entered this terrible domain for any number of reasons. Maybe script development stalled, either because the director could not get something to his liking or Lucasfilm had too many notes. This comes to us from Giant Freaking Robot. This is a weird one. Giant Freaking Robot is more of an aggregate of information. They will find stuff on different sites and put it together, but apparently they have sources, and sometimes their stuff is not trustworthy, but sometimes they're right. So I'm not bagging on Giant Freaking Robot, but I see a lot of stories from them, but I always am I'm always hesitant to just jump right on and believe something. Much like the Eminem is a clone thing, you gotta think about things. You can't just believe everything you see. But I started thinking about this, and I was thinking about it, and like maybe people are getting Taika fatigued, and I know. Curtis, you definitely have your issues after Thor, but there's definitely a history of Kathleen Kennedy tending to shy away from directors when they're not winning. And we have they'll jump on them when they're like in the spotlight, but as soon as they start losing their shine, she will jump off of that. And I we had that with Josh Trank. He was the Fantastic Four director who did the reboot. It was all good until that movie failed, and then he was supposed to do a Boba Fett movie, and as soon as that movie was a giant turd, then all of a sudden they fired him. He claims he quit before they fired him. But the same thing, Patty Jenkins, they were all gung-ho, we're going to do a Rogue Squadron movie. As soon as 1984 Wonder Woman was a big failure, then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, look over here at this show. We're not doing movies right now. And you haven't heard anything about movies in a while. Maybe they are just figuring out, hey, this TV thing is actually working out for us. We're going to focus on that. But maybe seeing things like Thor Love and Thunder is the lowest audience rating of any Thor movie in the franchise. There's a lot of crap. And again, a lot of people are trying to make headlines and looking for clickbait and things. So it's like the highest selling movie on a Labor Day. You know how they do that. They always, on Labor Day, highest moving on St. Patrick's Day. They're always doing what they can to finagle a headline. But anyway, I'm wondering if people are tired of Taika's ridiculous, over the top sense of humor, which is awesome and hilarious and amazing if you're watching what they do in the what they do in the Shadows or other movies. But if you're getting into some serious Star Wars like Andor right now, we're seeing Andor. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, but we're seeing Andor trailers that are looking super epic and like Game of Thrones in space almost. You know what I mean? Like this looks like a crazy epic serious movie. Do you really want Taika Waititi getting a hold of things and turning things ridiculous after we have this super serious tone? And there's an argument to be made when you say, hey, he did direct the Chapter 8 redemption in Mandalorian season 1, and he voiced the awesome droid, the bounty hunter droid. But like, and so there's an argument he did direct that. He can direct serious stuff and then throw in and sprinkle some funny stuff in there. Maybe Marvel just let him go too far and do his thing. They should have wrangled him in. Maybe it's their fault, not his fault. Maybe he wouldn't do that in Star Wars, but maybe he would. And do we want that? And as soon as I saw Thor and I started thinking, I was like, whoa, maybe it's a knee-jerk reaction, but I was like, whoa, I don't want him directing any Star Wars stuff. I'm seeing this stuff. The Mandalorian stuff's awesome. I'm seeing the new Andor stuff. All this stuff is really starting to come together. I'm getting excited about Ahsoka. I'm getting excited of all this. Thrawn's going to be like hearing all these rumors, and then to think like somebody's going to come in and have disrespect for the characters like they do for Thor and make him a joke. Not my Star Wars. What do you think, Curtis?
I think that you're exactly right. I think that some people are like, obviously his original stuff, the stuff that he came up with, is very good in my opinion. Don't think there's an original storyline that he's written that is not a good movie to me. However, some people do better with constraint. Like, so if it's his original idea, he can run with it and he can do what he wants, and it works out well because I guess he constrains himself. However, with other people, this is the same person. He said he's all about tearing down the source material. That's not a direct quote, but I'm paraphrasing. With Thor and stuff like that. So when you look at somebody like that who's going to go into the Star Wars world, like, and I believe that in Mandalorian, he probably had a lot of guidelines or guardrails like to keep him in line. And like he can still do very well, but he's gonna want to do it his way. And like sometimes that works out well, sometimes it doesn't. It worked out well in my opinion for Ragnarok, although a lot of people have issues with Ragnarok. I didn't know that. And then once they brought those issues up, it kind of made me look at it a different way. But after seeing like what he did with the new Thor, Love and Thunder, I don't want him touching Star Wars either. Like I don't want him. I mean, unless there are, keep him in. Like this is Star Wars. This is what you can and can't do. And normally I'm against execs saying doing stuff like that, but with this guy, you got to reel him in if you want something good, in my opinion.
What do you think, Arnold?
I would make a better movie. I will just get in there and do the shooting with the lightsabers and the chopping and then shooting and then kicking and stuff like that. And I will throw him out the window and be like, yeah.
Okay. How about you, Derek? What would you do? Or what do you think?
I don't share the fatigue like you two do. But I definitely understand it. The thing that got me excited about Taika's Star Wars was that he was going to write new characters, a new story. So, in my opinion, Star Wars, it's a vast universe with untold stories and untold characters and unknown locations. His style can work in a separate Star Wars movie. Now, if you take that and try to connect it to Andor or something like that, it'd feel weird. I agree with you on that. It's definitely not his style, which is why Thor Love and Thunder felt out of place. But if he's just making his own movie or his own trilogy with his style somewhere else in a different time, in a different planet, I think it'd be cool. I think there's room in Star Wars for every type of genre, comedy, dark, what have you. So I'd be down for that. I honestly want them to make a Star Wars story that's away from the Empire and the rebellion and the Skywalkers. And that sounds like that's what Taika wanted to do.
Oh yeah.
So for that, like, I'm into it. I still have faith in him with that. Yeah.
I agree with you, and I like what he did with that Game of Thrones episode, and I like other movies that he's done. It just made me nervous because like Thor: Love and Thunder was just too silly, and that made me nervous because I'm very protective of Star Wars. I like Star Wars, and like even Book of Boba Fett was a little bit too campy for me. They had a couple of things that were like, I keep calling it Mayberry in space, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, come on, guys, like, and it's fine until you turn around and see like the one episode that Bryce Dallas Howard directed that was basically a Mandalorian season 3 shoehorned into Book of Boba Fett, and then you're like, boom, there it is, and like they'd be like saying something where, and Fennec Shand is next to Boba Fett and like, well, what do you think? And she'd be like, and then like, wah, wah, and I was like, hey Opie, blah 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 blah, I was like, come on guys, Curtis.
Well, and at the same time too. So this is the first sequel that we've seen him do. So maybe that's the thing, is that the first, if he does a Star Wars, I agree. I like what Derek's saying. Like, absolutely branch out and stuff like that. This is the first sequel that we've seen him do, and that he might be one of those people that's like, shouldn't make sequels. There are some directors that just shouldn't make sequels, and like, so he's like, well, this worked the first time, so let's up it times 10, like, and make him more silly and make it more, so that might be the issue too. So the first one might be good, just kind of cut him off from there, but also at the same time, I would say keep Star Wars as shows for now. It's working. Like, you don't need a big theatrical release unless it's a surefire thing, and that surefire thing should be the Thrawn trilogy. Like, just like get people in there, get it going, and like that should be the next Star Wars movie. Everything else, like, I'd be fine with him doing a Star Wars show, and like if it just one off planet story, and be done with it. That'd be cool. And if it's great, move on. But the next movie theatrical release should be the Thrawn trilogy.
Derek?
That was something else I wanted to. So it's odd. It's funny to me that so when they did the sequel trilogy, it doesn't seem like they really had a plan for it. Kind of like how Warner Brothers didn't really have a plan for their DC cinematic universe, which I think is ironic since Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars. But
they need a Feige. Go ahead.
It's almost like they do, because honestly, like, they didn't have a plan of whose Rey's parents were. Like, everyone, like, there wasn't a guideline to follow. JJ made The Force Awakens. It's like, all right, we're bringing it into kind of some familiarity, and then Rian Johnson's like, oh, I'm just gonna do everything new, which I loved, by the way. I know not everybody did. Love The Last Jedi, but I loved it. And then The Rise of Skywalker, they're like, okay, how about we just retcon everything, try to save us, instead of sticking to their guns and trying to complete the story that Rian Johnson set out for them. So, like, in that, they almost did a Warner Brothers and just kind of been like, oh, let's just fix our mistakes and let's like cower it out of this. So I feel like, with their movies, they need to sit down and come up with a plan for them before they start cranking them out. So hopefully that's what this is. Like, all these movies coming to a halt. Hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah, you gotta follow through, and you can't just do some knee-jerk reaction where you're like, oh my god, and then just forget it, we're scrapping the whole thing, change everything because so-and-so's not getting a bonus. You know what I mean? That's what executives do. They screw everything up. Let's see what the chat has to say about this. Woo! Jojo the Rabbit shows he can direct serious. Absolutely. I still haven't seen that movie. I know what it's about. Yeah, I've heard that.
And that's true. But again, it was his original idea. It wasn't within an existing universe. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. And then let's see here. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. You're damn right, Jedi Master EJ. Feige will take control of Marvel very soon. Feige is in control of Marvel. Debatably,
Maybe
I
they meant to
think.
say,
I think you're
Star
saying
Wars.
DC, maybe. Maybe, huh? What if Feige just took control over Star Wars and DC?
I wouldn't like that.
You wouldn't like that?
No. I wouldn't like that.
Why not?
We need to have some stuff not being touched by Disney.
Oh yeah. Well, Star Wars is already touched.
I'm just like DC though.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I was trying to find this thing that's not even in here. There it is. Be like, yeah, maybe we can get him to take over that. Yes. Kevin Feige. Taking over. Taking over Star Wars. That was incredible. Sorry, guys.
No, what's his name? The Glue needs to take over Star Wars.
The who?
The Glue. What's his name?
Dave
Favreau?
Filoni. Dave Filoni is the Glue.
Filoni.
I was thinking Favreau. Either one.
Yeah, Dave Filoni is the Glue.
Yeah, Filoni out Star Wars is Lucas. Like,
this is true. Let's talk to the chat. So what we got? JoJo was ridiculous. Hitler. Blah blah blah. Sorry, dude. I meant Star Wars. Okay, yeah, he meant Star Wars. It's an easy thing. I'm like thinking, what if he ends up taking over DC? Because he loves DC. He worked for Richard Donner.
he's already said, yeah.
Yeah, and another thing is he loves Star Wars too. Like he actually loves Star Wars as his first love, before more than Marvel. It's just happened to be he ended up just stumbling into Marvel stuff. So it's crazy. But when I say stumbling, let's not pretend he's not a super huge fan of Marvel stuff. That he knows the stuff. But anyway, awesome. Well, let's see here. What else we got? Well, Taika Waititi fatigue. Is it out there? I think in general everybody still loves Taika Waititi. It's just in that Free Guy movie with Ryan Reynolds, the character he played, not so much. But every other character he plays, hell yeah. The IG-11, and Korg and all these different things that he plays, he's great. And what they do in the shadows is great. Everything he does seems to be great. I just think people are a little bit butthurt that Thor was a little over the top. So I think that's what's going on. And I think
he needs to pull it back a little bit, because even if they're not fatigued yet, like they're gonna get fatigued. Like it's because he is a stylistic director. Like you gotta. Tarantino was coming out with something like once every so often. If he came out with one every year, like Waititi's doing, you'd get tired of the style. It's a style, you know what I mean? It's gonna get old. So like pull it back a little bit and like save yourself, bud. Like it's gonna get old. Just promise
dude, you got to make hay when the sun's shining. Like he's and he's a class clown. There's no wrangling the class clown. That's what he does. Have you seen him in an interview? He's a class clown. He's ridiculous, and that's his personality. Just like Jim Carrey was over the top and ridiculous back when he was at his peak back in the day. The responsibility is on Kevin Feige, and whoever was in charge of that project is the one who dropped the ball on that with Thor, in regards to Thor, and it'll be Kathleen Kennedy or anybody else's job to make sure he doesn't go over the top. Hey, dude, dial it back. I'm sure Jon Favreau was like, "Whoa, hey, man, you need to tone it down a little bit, buddy." So anyway, well, let's move on to some other stuff. This next, what I was gonna do. I'm not gonna mess with that anymore. I was gonna pull in the Feige glue. I mean the Filoni glue graphic that I had.
Anybody got time for that?
Ain't nobody got time, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about still, and not that much time. Let's see what the chat has to say real quick, because they're commenting away.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got Feige's first love is Star Wars, and he will be more over once the next phase of yeah. And then
That'd
Alan,
be cool.
Yeah, Alan Horn could persuade him to switch now that he's having his power reduced at Marvel. Yes, we were talking about that last week. And let's see what this is. I watched Bullet Train tonight, guys. It's absolutely awful. The CGI in particular is really poor. I saw it and I had a great time. It's not the great. It's like Baby Driver isn't the greatest movie in the world, but I sure had a lot of fun. That's how I, not every movie is going to be a cinematic masterpiece. Sometimes you get some that could use a little work here and there, but there's still a fucking good time. And that's how I felt about it. But of course, I mean, look at the name of the channel is Clint Likes Everything. So, Curtis, what were you going to say?
You got to remember, Benson, not every movie can be Stone Cold. So,
or Roadhouse.
That's just a fact of life. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, but you know what? To each his own. If you didn't like it, that's cool. I had a great time. I also liked the characters. I wasn't watching for the CGI. I really liked Brad Pitt's character. It's fantastic, super likable, and I loved it. The twins, the two guys that are in this, they call them the twins, but they're partners really. They were super charismatic and hilarious, and their banter between each other. You got sucked into that. I like the whole thing. You got Zod. I can't think of that actor's name. He's in it. He was great. Like I really liked the characters and the storytelling, and that's what I was watching. Some of the CG, I suppose, could have been a little better. But again, I wasn't watching for that. But anyway, let's move forward. Clint likes everything. All right. I need to make that soundbite so I can use that. So this next segment is called Buttload of Shows. It's called Buttload of Shows because we have a buttload of shows coming, and very soon we're gonna have Andor Wednesday, September 21st. Then we're gonna get She-Hulk, August 18th. We're going to have Rings, Lord of the Rings. I just shit the bed on that one. And then we're going to have the House of the Dragon. But one thing you got to remember, Rings of Power, there it is. It's going to be a case where we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, like the whole way through. It's going to be like a power weekend. So let's talk about the first one, Andor. Andor is the story of a rebel spy, Cassian Andor, in his formative years of the rebellion and his difficult missions for the course. The release was on August 31st, and it got moved to September 21st. This is pretty interesting, man. Like, they moved it. Like, why would they do that? And it's because they didn't want any competition. They're gonna have but they did move it to a Thursday. Cassian Andor. I mean, they did move it. I'm thinking about Hulk. Look, it's Wednesday, and they moved it a month. And we were looking forward to this release, and they moved it back a month. But we're gonna get three episodes up front, so that's gonna be super cool. And then if you look at the next one, She-Hulk, they moved that from a Wednesday to a Thursday. I'm getting my shows mixed up. And the reason is they didn't want overlapping Marvel and Star Wars stuff, which is awesome. And then you got Rings of Power and all this. I just can't. I'm having like an overload thinking that, hey, I'm going to have all of this stuff piled on at one point. We're going to have shows every day of the second half of the week. That's exciting. What do you guys think about this, Derek? Are you stoked on all these shows?
Yeah, very much so. At least two of them. I'm very, very excited for Andor and Rings of Power. I am going to watch She-Hulk. Mainly for my boy Matt Murdock, but
hell yeah.
I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised by the entire show, and we'll see. We'll see about the Game of Thrones one. We'll see about it. I'll check it out. So yes, I will watch them, but I really just want my Andor, my Star Wars, and my Daredevil.
Hell yeah. And what about you, Curtis?
I'm very excited. I'm most excited for Andor and She-Hulk. Well, actually, and Lord of the Rings as well. The Game of Thrones one, I'll check it out, but I'm not super excited about it.
Did you like Game of
Probably-
Thrones before?
I never finished it. Like I got to a point, and we still plan on finishing, but it kind of lost me. It was very good, but I didn't see what the huge draw was. And I like fantasy stuff. I'm into fantasy stuff, but it's it just kind of got a little. Doesn't mean it won't pick up again, but got a little slow. So I mean, I'll check it out. I'll finish Game of Thrones, but I'm most excited for She-Hulk, honestly. And I think Derek will be pleasantly surprised, as long as they don't screw it up. I really think this is going to be an awesome show, and if it's not, you'll hear about it. The only thing that makes me mad is, as a teacher, why are they putting all this shit out right whenever summer's ending? Like, it doesn't like I could have been just draining myself and watching these shows nonstop, and then now that summer's over, it's like, oh god.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff. I started thinking about like all of the things overlapping and things like that, and I thought it was interesting that they moved them all to separate days. And I should have put these all with the release dates on one screen so I wouldn't confuse myself. But like going show by show, I'm thinking, okay, Andor, why did they move that? I'm like, okay, they moved it back a month. Let's see, September 21st. So what else we got?
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, it was August 31st, and they didn't want to compete with House of the Dragon. Yeah, they would have been sandwiched between these two shows. And they said, dude, we're not gonna sandwich ourselves between August 21st and September 2nd. Like, that's just silly. So we're going to let these and let all the hubbub about these shows in case one of them is awesome. And then we will have our September 21st release back down the road a little bit after all of the fuss is mellowed out, and we'll let those other two people fight it out. We'll just mellow it out. Like, that's perfectly reasonable. What were you going to say, Curtis?
The reason they moved both of them is so as not to compete with Dancing with the Stars.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not at all. If you don't know, Disney owns ABC. Dancing with the Stars premieres the same August 17th, that Wednesday. So they moved She-Hulk back a day as not to compete with Dancing with the Stars, and they moved Andor back a month because it's like, we'll let Dancing with the Stars get into it and then move along. Yeah, Disney owns ABC.
I refuse to believe that they're worried about that.
Look it up.
To me, it just looks like, oh, did you just realize these other shows were coming out? Like, let's move the show. Like, that's hilarious. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting, and again, I can't be more excited to have all this stuff. And then I started wondering. Yes. I started thinking, Rings of Power. Let's look at that again. I should have put their logos up and stuff too. I'm like, blonde in a fantasy show. Which show am I looking at? Lord of the Rings. I don't know what I'm talking about. But this show is based on the legends of a fabled second age of Middle Earth's history. And it's set 1,000 years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I grew up I grew up with the Hobbit cartoons, and I can't wait for this show. Where's my? There it is. I can't wait for this show. A big thing that I wondered, being that I got into this, like when I was really young, the old Hobbit cartoon, and then later fell in love with the Peter Jackson movies, but it made me wonder. I was like, is this going to be trying to compete with the nudity and violence of Game of Thrones? You know, in the streaming wars, Amazon's like, okay, we got this. Now we can do this. This is going to compete with Game of Thrones. We got, like, everybody's got their IPs and they're all in a giant streaming war. And so I looked it up. And I found this article. It said, when speaking to Vanity Fair, McKay noted that the goal was to make a show for everyone, for kids who are 11, 12, and 13, even though sometimes they might have to pull the blanket up over their eyes if it's a little too scary. We talked about the tone of in Tolkien's books. This is material that is sometimes scary and sometimes very intense, sometimes quite political, sometimes quite sophisticated, but it's also heartwarming and life-affirming and optimistic. It's about friendship, it's about brotherhood and underdogs overcoming great darkness. So that pretty much answered, like, no, this isn't going to be all about nudity and violence. What were you going to say, Curtis?
No, well, and I think that's smart for people with these IPs. Like, I think Marvel's doing it a little too soon, in my opinion. But, and I've talked about that before. But to start gearing towards a younger audience, because, like, that's the thing, when you grow up with it, you continue with it, you know. And to have something like this, where you are telling the same story and continuing it, so that people can grow up and potentially rewatch the, Peter Jackson ones and the cartoon ones, or the and stuff like that, is really cool with the new stuff that's coming out. And honestly, like, this could fix the Roadhouse problem too. You make a John Dalton movie where he's a kid and he's growing up and on the playground, and he's like beating up the bullies and stuff like that, and you follow him through his life where he just doesn't like bullies and he like throws people out that cause trouble, and then it'll lead them to go back and watch the original Roadhouse. I mean, and then they can watch Roadhouse, Florida, and bam, look at that, Amazon, you're doing the same thing. We're done here. Like, you got a whole new fan base for Roadhouse, and everybody's happy.
Dude, that is genius. We're gonna get the genius alarm. Yes, sir. Wow. What do you think about that? Are you excited? Do you like Lord of the Rings stuff? J.R.R. Tolkien stuff, Hobbit stuff?
Talking to me?
Yeah, Derek.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm looking over there when you're down. Clearly, you're down there.
Yeah. No, I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think when we first talked about this show on the show, I mentioned The Hobbit and how I thought even the Hobbits were fun. I didn't think they were nearly as good as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but I still had a good time. So even if this show is just as good as the Hobbit trilogy, I'll at least enjoy it. May not rewatch it, but yeah. And as far as, making it making it family friendly. I mean, I watched Lord of the Rings when I was young, and to me, I still think those are family friendly. Like, there are moments where
completely.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments where, they're catapulting heads over a castle, which is a little questionable, but that's when you're like, all right, don't watch the heads, cover your eyes for the heads, and now we're back. But no, definitely, I'm really excited about it. I love me some good fantasy.
I'm kind of bummed. I was hoping to see some orc booty, maybe some hobbit booty, no hobbit booty. Like, come on,
Google it.
Oh,
I guarantee you'll find it.
Lord of the
Could
Dings.
you imagine Hobbit booty? It probably looks like Austin Powers' chest. Like, come on.
Lord of the
Nice.
Lord of the Dings, or Lord of the what kind of ring? Oh boy. All right, we're moving forward. So all that got me wondering too. House of Dragon, right? We got House of Dragon. Which House of the Dragon is a story about the Targaryen civil war that took place about 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. The big question is, will there be nudity and violence in this? Well, I got an answer. Following the brutal sexual violence of Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon co-showrunner Miguel Sapochnik said the spinoff had no intention of backing down from portrayals of sexual violence. We don't shy away from it, Sapochnik said. If anything, we're going to shine a light on that aspect. You can't ignore the violence that was perpetrated on women by men at that time. It shouldn't be downplayed and it shouldn't be glorified. So clearly they're talking about the Drago scene, but I like the idea of having a show that is like, if this is supposed to be like medieval kind of times, people were shitty back in those times, and it's kind of like when people talk about Columbus and all the terrible things he did, and I'm like, all of those explorers and people, conquerors that conquered new lands, raped and pillaged and did stuff. So like, if I'm watching basically what is the fantasy version of a period piece, I don't want to necessarily see it, but it could be implied. You know what I mean? If there's some kind of weird violence and murder and things, and I think Game of Thrones, people are scoundrels. They want to see violence and nudity. So the fact that they're going to keep that tradition going, keep it on HBO, give it an adult rating. I think that's good. I don't think I don't think they should Disney it up. But Curtis, you got kids. What do you think?
I don't know. My kids aren't going to watch Game of Thrones anyway, but that's one of the reasons I haven't finished it.
I mean, there was incest in the old one, for crying out loud. I mean, it's insane.
Is this one written by George R.R. Martin, or is it just them like a spinoff thing? Do we know?
It's a spinoff. He's involved, but it's but I don't think it's a direct. I don't think it's direct out of a book.
I just don't know. Like, this might have been one of the things that they should have dumped. I don't know many people that are even huge Game of Thrones fans. Like I have a lot of friends and family that are huge Game of Thrones fans that just really aren't excited about this at all. And I don't know. I mean, I know it's done, so we might as well dump it out there. But I don't necessarily see this big. I could be wrong, I'll readily admit it. But I don't see this being a huge hit for them. They're beating a dead horse here, in my opinion. It's like, why don't we make a spinoff to Lost? It's like, well, that story's kind of done. Like, let's. Well, and I guess you could say the same thing for Lord of the Rings, but that's like 50 years old.
Well, this is a prequel, and this takes place before Game of Thrones. But the thing that I'm hearing from all the people that have seen this, that they've screened it, and different reviewers and things, are there people that hated the final season of Game of Thrones, because the final season of Game of Thrones, they ran out of source material because the final book hasn't been finished. So he kind of supervised them. And what's interesting is, like, people used to say there was too much talking and we want to see more dragons and more action. So they finally delivered that in the final. They're like, well, we don't have source material to write dialogue off of, so we're gonna just give them a bunch of action and dragons. And they did that, and then everybody's like, we hate it. I'm like, well, you've been crying about not enough action for several seasons, and now we gave it to you. But they won awards for it, but the fans didn't like it. But the interesting thing is that people that hated the last season of Game of Thrones are loving the House of Dragon. They're loving it, and apparently it's awesome. It's really, really good. Cool. So I think once the word gets out, I think they basically it's like, if you. I think basically, I was going to say, if you had Taika Waititi direct another Thor movie, but I'm going to let that one go. Like, if you like, they let people down, and a lot of people liked Thor, by the way. So I should just shut the hell up. Yeah,
good for them.
Good for them. But anyway, no, like, I think once the word gets out that it's good, I think it's going to catch on. So
it just. Yeah, I'm not, I haven't even finished the original Game of Thrones. So I'm not the person. Don't be, respecting my opinion on this. But like, it's just, I know a bunch of people who are just like in love with it. And that's kind of my point, is that he didn't write the original ending. And that's what I mean. You're not going off source material for this one. I mean, he is supervising and stuff. So that's what kind of worries me at the same time. And
it's not
what you're saying about Columbus. No, I know.
Yeah, because there's multiple books. But what were you going to say about Columbus?
No, what you're saying about, like I agree with what you're saying about Columbus, and like there have been kings and stuff like that who throughout history have been shitty people and just done these awful things, and yet we exalt them. That's one of the things that's why I love Vikings, because Vikings just own it. They're just like, yeah, we raped and we pillaged. That's what we did, bro. Like, that's our thing. Like, there's never been this time where we tried to like glaze over that, like, like, oh, the Vikings were these wonderful settlers and blah blah blah. No, they were just like the Vikings came and just raped and pillaged, and like they're like, yep, that's what we did, and we were damn good at it.
And they high-fived each other. They're like, yeah, we did. Did you see that pillaging I did? Yeah.
I got like 67 babies running around this field right now.
I was going to say, did you see that? No, I'm not going to say that. I want somebody to take a soundbite of me screaming that out. But yeah, it's history is messed up. Human beings are messed up.
Yeah.
What do you think, Derek? Are you excited about? Did you like Game of Thrones, or are you excited about the new series House of Dragon? Like,
I binged Game of Thrones like before, what? How many seasons were there? 7, 8?
7 or 8? 7, I think.
I binged them like right before season 7 came out, or right after it finished. So I didn't feel as betrayed by the ending as everybody else did, because I didn't invest as much time. But what's kind of funny is that the Game of Thrones guys were supposed to do a Star Wars trilogy, and after that, like, they got fired from Star Wars.
Yep.
So kind of going back to that whole Star Wars, like Kathleen Kennedy and all that. But it just felt like they wrapped it up too soon. It felt like, oh, we gotta go work on Star Wars. So here's the end. Here we go. I liked the first half of the last season. I was fine with that. It was the second half. I was just like, yeah, we're kind of just quickly wrapping everything up, aren't we? Not a lot of substance here. But no, I didn't love it as much as everybody else did, but I still enjoyed it. I did like it.
Are you excited about the new show?
I will watch it. I can go either way with it. If it got scrapped right now, I wouldn't care. But once it comes out, I'm gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this show. I'm excited. Well, another show that I really loved, and that they said that there wasn't going to be a sequel for this show. It was Moon Knight, like the Disney show. You guys know Moon Knight, the Marvel show. Yeah, they said that. And what's interesting is that it was submitted for awards and stuff as a limited series, which there's penalties for that. You're not allowed to say that and then make another one, because you just screw it. You're not a limited series. You're a series, that's having sequels. You don't belong in that category. You're screwing other people out of awards. You know what I mean? But so they said they weren't going to have that, but recently we got a little bit of evidence that possibly there is going to be another Moon Knight. So that's kind of weird. As the big question is there going to be a Moon Knight? Is there going to be another Moon Knight? Well, let's look at this video that was put on TikTok by the director of Moon Knight's daughter.
The question on everyone's mind, is there a season 2?
Why else would we be in Cairo?
What? Why else would we be in Cairo? What the hell is that all about? I was like, I watched that like 3 times. I was like, that's super weird. And then it was great because Curtis called me and was like, dude, I have an exclusive interview with Oscar Isaac for the show. So we're going to get Oscar Isaac in here, and Curtis is going to talk to him and ask him about Moon Knight. It's going to be interesting. So you guys ready to do that? All right, here, let me get him in here. Hello?
Oscar,
Hello?
are you there? I know you're coming. Thank you for coming to us via satellite from Egypt.
Hello. Oh, there you are.
How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. I'm in Egypt.
Nope, you're not in Egypt. Tell them that is your background. You have a green screen.
Oh, I'm not in Egypt. I'm at home. I've got a green screen. Yes, please, sir. Can I have some more?
But your daughter said you just had that the video just came out, and you just said you were in Cairo. Like, and it's obvious.
No.
It looks like Cairo behind you there. I mean,
No.
Nope. Nope. You are a jokester. Everybody knows this about you. You've got a great sense of humor.
I'm a jokester. I've got a great sense of humor.
That's it.
Everybody knows that, I talk like this because I'm a
well,
jokester.
yeah. No, well, you're obviously still in character. You're playing Steven right now. Are you doing method acting? I mean, are you about to shoot a scene or?
Independent role, Oscar. You are working on the new A24 film coming out in the next couple of years.
Independent role of what I'm working on a new A24 film. Late.
In Cairo?
I've got latest gators. That was super weird. I don't know what. That was the weirdest interview I've ever seen. What just happened there?
I don't know. I've interviewed that guy like 6 times, and each time it's like that.
Super weird. So weird. Yeah. So, well, what do you guys think? Do you think they're doing another? I mean, he just denied that there's that filming. Do you think that maybe they are filming? Maybe they're not.
I don't know. Maybe it's not another season. Maybe it's a movie.
Oh, and that would be awesome. I mean, it's that thing, the confirmation bias thing. Like, you know what I mean? If you see something and you want to believe it, you're going to put pieces together. And of course, being in Cairo is a pretty damn huge puzzle piece. But at the same time, he did shoot that series and make friends with the director. He could be vacationing and visiting his friend now. You know what I mean? And they don't work all the time. So, yeah. What do you think?
Well, and it could be. I mean, like. Well, 2 things. Like, I can't believe that they made this whole series just to let it just be done with that, especially with the ending. Like, spoiler alert, at the ending, they bring in Jake Lockley, and he's, like, taking over Moon Knight's mind. And it's like, why would you even do that if you're not going to continue the story? So there might be a movie coming. He might be another character in another movie. I would think, honestly, though, that if there is some filming going on, it's going to lead into the Werewolf by Night Halloween special, supposedly, that's coming. Because where Moon Knight first appeared in Werewolf by Night.
Oh.
So it's not a continuation of the series. It could be a continuation of the character, which will lead to more movies. Maybe not independent films, but like Avengers or Secret Wars, stuff like that. He's going to be in Secret Wars, so they got to kind of pepper him in and out and keep him relevant at minimum. So I don't know what the rules are with the limited series thing, but within a few years, if they do another series, because there's been plenty of limited series that have turned into full series, like that's. But I don't think they're making anything yet. I really don't, because Oscar Isaac said he wasn't going to, and then it's just, I don't know.
I don't know.
So I couldn't believe he'd lie to me. Like, I mean, we have a working relationship. I can't believe that he'd just lie to me like that.
It's super weird. I can't believe he would do that either. Like, I don't know, man. I think that's interesting about Werewolf by Night, that because he's known to be attached to that. So that's super interesting. And
what about I forget her name, but his wife in that show,
the Scarlet,
Scarab?
Scarab, yeah, Red Scarab.
She's a comic book character, right? They didn't just make her up for the show, right? What if she's getting a little thing? I don't know.
I think her dad in the show, the name of her dad was the Red Scarab in the comic.
Ah,
yeah, if I remember correctly. But
they're mixing like 2 to 3 different characters for that for the MCU one, because and doing time jumps and all kind of like.
I liked her. I mean, it's not a time jump if it's like a new universe. It's it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but I think I liked her, and I'm like, I want to see more of her.
Fine.
Yeah, she was cool.
I want to see more Moon Knight. That was my issue with her. It's like, why are you introducing a new superhero in Moon Knight when I have barely seen Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Just like, it would have been, the bigger reveal would have been like to show Moon Knight. Like, I don't get it.
let's see what people are in. We got no comments on this new development with the new Oscar Isaac interview, but that was fun.
People are probably still stunned, like they're just amazed.
I think they are. Well, let's move on. We got more crazy stuff. Let's move on to some DC news. DC news, and we got this here. If you guys haven't been paying attention this week, here's something for you. And this week at HBO Max. Swings. Oh, man. Holy crap. This has been a crazy week. And what's that? Little bit. Yeah. This has been a crazy week. I've got several articles that I'm going to pull up here, and we're going to talk about several, because from the beginning of the week, it's been like, what? And here we go. I'll start with this one. Boom. HBO Max appears to be inexplicably purging streaming exclusive movies from the service. Oh. Well, it's not inexplicable. All right. You don't make money from streaming movies. You make money from licensing them out. So here's the deal. Why would they do this? Why would they be inexplicably purging their movies? Well, we found out this week that David Zaslav is cleaning house and cutting corners and doing everything. And there's a deal where you pretty much, and that's why they're canceling movies too. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. Basically, if you look at Sony's business plan, Sony has not been messing around with streaming services. They said, you know what? We're going to keep making movies, and we're going to license them to whoever wants to borrow them from us. And then as soon as that time period ends, we're going to turn around and license them to somebody else. And they're doing great. Sony's been kicking ass, not messing around with the streaming service thing. And HBO said, well, you know what? Sony's making money on that. Let's take these movies off of here that are exclusive to HBO and make some money. Because when you put a movie on your streaming service, which is exactly why Batgirl got canceled or shelved, you don't make any money. There's no money to be made. And how many people do you think are going to say, hey, I'm going to go get a subscription to HBO Max because I want to see Batgirl? Not that many.
Four.
Especially if the movie sucks. Like, and from what we've heard from the test screenings, it was terrible. And I haven't seen it. I don't know, but I'm just reading what I've seen at different articles. The word is that it was terrible or okay. And David Zaslav is trying to really put some weight behind the brand of DC and said, you know what, we're not going to screw around. We're gonna make DC mean something. And right now, and they kind of put a price minimum on what they're going to be spending on these movies, and this is $90 million and up. And anything less, it doesn't quite have the quality that they're looking for. And from what I've heard, the costumes and stuff look cheap on this. So when they made it, this is an old regime that did this. When they made this, they were just trying to make something for streaming. We'll put something out on HBO Max, and so they can get more subscribers. Now they're like, crap, what do we do with this? Do we put it in streaming? We're not going to make any money. This movie looks cheap. I'm trying to change the image of DC. Putting out a cheap movie isn't going to help our image. It's going to look like we've cranked out another cheap movie, and then and we can't put it in theaters for sure. And we lost a bunch of money. And it isn't the old guys that used to be in charge of stuff who approved this. They wasted a bunch of money. So what are we going to do now? Well, there's a situation where you can write these off as a loss what companies can. After the merger, they can write this off as a loss. So the deal behind that is if they do that, nobody gets to see it. They don't get to put it anywhere, and so that's what they're going to do. They're gonna shelf this thing. Nobody's going to see it. Which I've seen some pictures of Leslie Grace in the suit, and a couple of pictures of Michael Keaton. It makes me sad, but on the other hand, I don't know if it would make me sadder to see a shitty movie. Like if it's that bad. And that's the deal. Is that they got to the point where they just said, dude, this movie's not good. It's not going to do us any favors. Let's just make our money back. So I don't know. I also wondered if the continuity. I started my talk about confirmation bias. How weird is it that in this that you're like, come on, how weird? What a coincidence that you got two different sightings of Michael Keaton's Batman got pulled. Okay, well, what is that? That either one they're saving money, or two, the conspiracy theorist in me thinks two. Maybe they're changing the storyline and they don't want Michael Keaton in it because that, like, are they gonna shit can the Flash? That's a big wonder. But before I get to that, I'll look at this real quick. Okay. Warner Brothers shelves Batgirl, no plans, and then basically all the stuff I told you just now. I feel bad for Leslie Grace. She's lovely and she's a great actress, and it makes me sad. She's was very excited about this role, and again, who doesn't want to be a superhero? And she made a post where she said, "I'm my own superhero, and I'm proud of her." And they also said that she's delightful and they want to work with her again. So I really wish great things for her. These filmmakers, they're very bummed. They put out, of course, you're going to put out a statement saying, hey, we're saddened and shocked by the news. We still can't believe it as directors. These are the guys that directed Miss Marvel, by the way. It's critical that our work be seen to audiences, and while the film was far from finished, we wish fans all over the world could have had the opportunity to see it, yada, yada, yada. Our amazing cast and crew did a tremendous job and worked so hard to bring this Batgirl to life, and mentioned all the cast and whatnot and cameos, Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser. There's a lot we're losing in this movie, but if it's bad, are we losing? I want to see all those things. I wish they would remake this movie good. And again, I haven't seen it, but I'm just going by what I've heard and why they canned it. And it's hard to make a movie with a limited budget that can hang with all the other comic book movies out there. If you got a small budget, that's tough. And they signed off with saying Batgirl for life, which is great. Another worry I had when I found out that they were canning all of these shows and movies. Well, another thing, they canned Scoob, which I know Curtis was really bummed about. Scoob, you wanted to see that.
Pisses me off.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll... poor Scoob. Like, we gotta go to another studio, Scoob. I started worrying, and I'm like, okay, what about Peacemaker? Is it safe? Yes. James Gunn has a message for fans, and everybody needs to calm down. The writer-director for the HBO Max series took to Twitter to soothe jittery fans who were understandably nervous about Season 2 in the wake of the unexpected Batgirl cancellation by Warner Brothers Discovery Management. The cost-cutting will apparently not extend to Peacemaker. Dude, Peacemaker was one of the... I put a little quote here. Peacemaker global. This was from January 26, 2022. Global audiences just can't get enough of Eagly. Eagly has eclipsed Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, as the world's most lovable mascot. Now that Peacemaker is the most streamed show in the world. In fact, the HBO Max series was more watched last week than The Witcher and Book of Boba Fett. When you have success like that, you don't have to worry when they start cutting corners. That is what they want. They want winners like that, and not some half-assed. Even though I liked it, but that Birds of Prey movie, I enjoyed it, but I could recognize, like, dude, that's not a winner compared to all the other comic book movies that are out there. So apparently, Peacemaker is going to be just fun. Now, before we get into what else is happening with Discovery and HBO streaming services, what do you think about all this stuff? Derek, what do you think?
First of all, I know I'm probably the only one, but I actually like Birds of Prey better than the Suicide Squad. But that's just me. I didn't like Peacemaker as a character. I haven't watched his show. I was not interested in it.
You got to watch the show.
I hate him.
Dude, I hated him too. But
you gotta watch that show.
You will have it is brilliant how there's a complete 360 or a 180, I guess I should say. It's not a 360, it's a 180.
180, yeah.
Math. To your feelings about Peacemaker. When you watch it, like at the end, they did a great job, and I was almost mad, like at the end of Suicide Squad, the second one, the Suicide Squad. I was almost angry about Peacemaker and what happened, and you were supposed to be, but I swear to you, dude, go watch Peacemaker. They completely turn you. I promise. Go watch it. Like, I promise.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I promise.
But no, I got my own conspiracy theory about Batgirl and what they're doing and all that stuff. I don't know if we're ready to talk
Let's
about
talk
that.
about it, and then we'll go on and we'll talk about the rest of the stuff. So what's your conspiracy theory? And then I'll see if it lines up with mine.
Yeah,
because
I mean, from the moment that they pushed back all the release dates, I was like, are we doing reshoots? Are we doing rewrites? Are we changing the story? And now that Ben Affleck is in Aquaman 2, confirmed, it's like, okay, all right. Now the Flash, I think, is still a thing, but from everything I understand about the Flash movie, it was that by the end of it, Michael Keaton was the new Batman, Ben Affleck was out. And with Batgirl already filmed and Michael Keaton being Batman in it, I assume this takes place after the Flash, after all that happens. I think that stuff like the Flash and Aquaman were salvageable enough for rewrites and reshoots to mess around with the story and get it in, because they also announced that they have a 10-year plan in place.
Yes, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
too.
so maybe they're like, okay, well, we can kind of reshoot here and rearrange here and change the ending to the Flash to where Ben Affleck is still Batman and Michael Keaton just came back for a fun, one-off cameo, or it could spin off in a multiverse later. I don't know. I'd be good with that. But I think that Batgirl was probably too, what's the word I'm looking for? Is probably too ingrained in that original story. Like you said, changing the story.
Yeah.
It was too ingrained to be salvageable. I don't think it would have been cost effective for them to do that many rewrites and that many reshoots to save that film. So I think it was just more cost effective to go ahead and scrap it, which sucks. Like I've been in a movie or two that didn't get finished, and it sucks. Like I'm never gonna see it. I'm never gonna see how it did, and we all worked hard on it, and it's terrible for the cast and the crew. But like Jedi Master EJ said down there, reuse her and the character in a different movie. I hope that they keep all of those actors cast in those roles. I think it'd be great if they did bring in Batgirl later with that actress and all that. I think that'd be fantastic. But that's my theory. I think they're rearranging the story and that Batgirl didn't fit into it.
I think you're absolutely. That's what I've been feeling too. Because at first it's like, first you see Ben Affleck, and you're like, okay. Then I would start thinking like, hey, is he going to stick around for a while? I wonder. And I was talking about it last week. I was like, dude, I don't know. You start waving like, hey, dude, we'll let you do whatever you want. You could direct a series, or you could do this, or you could do that. You got different business people now in there. That's what I was starting to think. Like maybe he might, and it's because I want him to stick around. So I'm like, maybe we will get more Batman from some Batfleck. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, and they got rid of Keaton, like you said, and I was like, yeah, and that's because they're going to release this before the Flash, and the Flash isn't supposed to show up until I mean, Keaton's not supposed to show up till the Flash, so they had to redo it because they couldn't have him. Oh, okay, well, that's the explanation. Then all of a sudden, Keaton's gone in this other show. I'm like, wait a second. They're erasing Keaton's Batman, which is a huge disrespect to Michael Keaton. What the hell? But you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. But why would they want? What is a single reason they would have to want to get rid of the Flash movie? And like, I can't think of one reason that they would want to get rid of the Flash movie. Ezra Miller's now been accused of grooming minors and leading a cult? What in the hell? What? How?
You couldn't think of one because there are so
There's
many.
so many reasons. There's so many good reasons to want to get rid of him. Like, I'm not even going to read this. This is a Vanity Fair article that got a insider article and kind of did a summary of it, and it talks about all kinds of stuff like Miller being in Europe and taking over like a bed and breakfast,
Building a cult in Iceland.
Iceland cult.
And
Grooming.
and 12-year-olds grooming 12-year-old girls, and
it's gnarly. You go look up Vanity Fair Ezra Miller and read the article, and I'm like, holy crap! This came out right after the investor call, like this story, and I'm like,
right,
dude, it's still coming. I was messaging back and forth with Curtis, and we were just going back and like we were talking about like, you know, why would they get rid of this? Why would they get rid of that? Why would they get rid of this? Why would they keep the Flash? And like, well, the Flash movie is supposed to be really good. So like they don't want to, they're going to just pretend like nothing's happening and release it, make the money from that because it's really, really good. And I'm like, okay, that makes, and then like, as soon as we get out, like, dude, and he sent me that. He's like, dude, this came out like an hour ago. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I was like, yeah. And they already had multiple allegations of all sorts of things, but it's not going away. Like we were joking about like, dude, they must have him locked in a room with restraints and a morphine drip until the movie comes out. Like they just got him sedated somewhere and like so he doesn't go throw a chair or screw anything else up. And like, but the stuff just keeps coming. The people keep coming and so when you have a really good
Ezra's not Arnold. Like he's not this household name. Like it's not this. It's so you're promoting this guy that's not already this built up star that people are gonna die and defend. You know, like it's just he's Ezra Miller. Like she is Ezra Miller. Like
I heard another show that was talking about like like I bet they just released the movie and don't even have a premiere because they don't want him to be at the premiere, and like I bet it was I don't know. I thought that was interesting take, but like they're gonna release the stuff, they're gonna release the movie apparently, but maybe now it's getting worse. I don't know. There's reports that he's traveling around the country with a bulletproof vest and a gun, and people that are close to him are starting to question whether he's mentally sound and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's getting weirder and stuff. And, you know, I'm sure the more people report this stuff and talk about it, the more he sees it online and it makes him more paranoid. You know, the whole world's after Ezra. But anyway,
it's messy right now. It's all just a real big shame that, like, all right, let's keep the movie with the crazy person because it's gonna make money, and then get rid of the one with, you know, a minority
Cancel
lead
Scoob.
actress and a trans actress, and like, because now that's what people are starting to focus on. It's like, oh, we're gonna cancel the movie with the black leading lady. I see, and that's what it seems like, and it's terrible. But we're keeping the crazy white guy, keeping the crazy white guy movie going. It's like, that doesn't look good.
No, that doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. If you're gonna, I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
I think they're gonna dump it. I think they're gonna dump it. Man.
I feel like at this point they might as well. It sucks.
They have till mid-August, and like, you know, after like Christmas or something, he's gonna go full crazy. Like he's just gonna do something, and then they're gonna be stuck like Chuck. So like, if they're smart, they're gonna be like, let's dump this now while we can get a huge write-off. I mean, I think they're waiting until the 15th or whatever the date is, and like they're gonna dump it, and they're gonna wait for more of these articles to drop, and be like, after this, we've just gotta dump it,
Here's super conspiracy. And this is just my imagination. Disclaimer: this is not true. This is my imagination. But how reasonable do you think, or possible do you think it would be for a company allegedly disclaimering? I don't believe this. I'm just saying, in a hypothetical situation, could a big company who needs a good reason to cancel something so that they could make a tax write-off release a bunch of stories to make it worse? They're like, dude, we can't save this. Let's just tank it, and because it's pretty interesting that the more stories started coming out after the investor meeting. Like, how crazy would that be if they're like, all right, dude, we gotta get the off the books, get the secure line. We need to make some secret phone calls and get this stuff. I don't know. We've been holding on. We've been sitting on these things for weeks, but we're gonna just go ahead and release them so we can have an excuse to cancel this movie.
I don't think they're making stuff up, but I wouldn't put them past them to be like, let's go do some digging, like, and find the lady who was like that Ezra Miller and his buddies wrecked their house or something like that. She let them stay, and like she's like, you can't smoke in my house, and then they just fucking demolished her house, and like so yeah, they
Well, I'm not saying they're inventing things, but sometimes they know stuff. They pay people off to shut them up and hush money.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they're like, dude,
And they're like,
there's no hushing this. Just release the hounds and let's get this over with. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
I think so. Yeah, I really think so.
We'll get our
I think
tax write-off. And I don't know anything about business. I don't know if they can get a tax write-off on the Flash movie.
Hey,
but
it's from the last regime. Like, it's from the last. They didn't start making that.
What a mess! What a mess! It's an interesting drama, and it's fun to hypothetically imagine things. But these are people's lives and blood, sweat, and tears. So you got an excellent movie with great acting, and even by Miller, you know what I mean, and a whole bunch of effects people that have worked thousands and thousands of hours, and lighting guys and writers and everyone, and Michael Keaton's and everything else that have shown up to make that great. And then the same with Batgirl, and movies getting shelved, movies continuing. It's just a big, huge drama at HBO Max, which is why we had the explosive video that we played a little while ago. One last thing I was going to say is Warner Brothers. Okay, I found some other articles too. HBO Max and Discovery are going to merge pretty soon. You've heard all this talk about layoffs. So, 70% HBO Max. What does that mean? Well, HBO and HBO Max, believe it or not, were two separate entities. And so they basically are consolidating those. And from what I understand, there's a lot of people. And so if you got two people at doing the same job, David Zaslav is like, why? Yeah, like, dude, you guys, just at HBO and HBO Max. And David Zaslav's walking in here. It's like, what the hell was going on with AT&T? You got head of this at AT&T. You got so and so from Warner Brothers. You got so and so from Warner Brothers Pictures. You got so and so from Warner Brothers. They had all these weird sections. That's why Warner Brothers was so sloppy and screwed up and agreeing on a way to put out all this stuff. Like, different people stand to bonus or make their careers look good, so they would get behind something, and then somebody else would nix it for their own selfish reasons. So he's getting rid of all of this stuff, and the first thing they also are doing is they're going to make DC its own thing. So it's not even going to be affiliated with, like, Warner Brothers. It's like its own thing. So you get good. You have your movie makers and your filmmakers and all telling your movies, all your stories over here, while DC Pictures or Films or whatever it's called does its own thing. And I think that's awesome. And we're gonna
like Marvel Studios.
Just like Marvel,
separate
exactly. It's exactly how it should be.
Yes.
Yeah. and Star Wars. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. But pretty soon they're going to have HBO Max and Discovery going to be one streaming service. That's happening a little later, so that's interesting. Which is great move because you've got all of these reality shows and different things to offer, and you could consolidate that and you could compete against these other people because you have Amazon that owns like national. Can't even remember. It's not National
Disney owns
Geographic.
National Geographic.
Yeah, it's
Disney owns
something.
National Geographic.
It's something similar, but but everybody's got their own news thing, their own wildlife thing, their own sports thing, and they're making these huge streaming situations to where they have a little of everything, and it looks like they're a well-rounded package, and that's what everybody likes, a well-rounded package, and that's what that's what they're doing over at HBO Max Discovery.
I like
pretty
my
soon.
package is bulging and misshapen. By the way,
It's me too. So let's see. Direct to streaming strategy. Warner Brothers Discovery is eyeing a reset of its DC cinematic universe and setting up a team with a 10-year plan for the franchise, CEO David Zaslav said Thursday. The revelation comes 2 days after the company announced it would shelve its straight-to-streaming DC film Batgirl. The decision surprised fans, offered a glimpse into the streaming strategy and new no-nonsense era under David Zaslav. 10-year strategy. That's what I'm talking about. They just got to find their Feige. The Trinity of, and they also said the Trinity of Batman. This is coming to me from comicbook.com. The Trinity of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are the future of the DC brand at Warner Brothers Discovery. During a merged company's Q2 earnings call Thursday, CEO David Zaslav said the DC Films universe is on the top of its list of a wider strategic shift to bolster DC brand and its superhero properties as a part of a 10-year plan focusing just on DC. That's what I'm talking about. After shelving its straight-to-streaming DC Comics adaptations of Batgirl and Wonder Twins, which is a ridiculous movie idea. You didn't know about that, Curtis? They had a fucking Wonder Twins movie. Yeah, they shelved that. That's the first thing he did. This was weeks ago. He came in and was like, fucking Wonder Twins?
Nope.
Get out of here.
Nope.
So yeah. So like really? This is like who's the freaking clown team that was in here earlier running stuff? I'm got some serious cleaning to do. And then he started doing things like watching all of the movies and looking at the progress and trying to find a plan. And what's your what? There's no plan? No, we're doing Shazam 2 and we've got a Black Adam. People like The Rock. Like we got Aquaman 2 because the first one made $1 billion, so we have to do another one, but we don't really know where we're going with any of this stuff. Well, he said, "Okay, dude, we gotta clean house." So, a Green Lantern was canceled. Okay.
Was it? I didn't know that.
That's super weird.
Huh.
Plus, so the first thing he does is get Alan Horn, who is a quarterback executive of the century, putting stuff together. And anyway, where was I? Batgirl and Wonder Twins canceled, which would have gone to HBO Max, but will not release at all. Zaslav said DC is something that we think we could make better and are focused on it now. That's what I'm talking about. Don't just put out a crappy movie that was made for $70 million that is lackluster but has a great cast that I still want to see. I'm really sad about Batgirl. I wanted to see that, mainly because Michael Keaton. When you look at Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, these brands that are known everywhere in the world, Zaslav said during the call, and the ability to drive those all over the world with great stories is a big opportunity for us. Yes, they're completely shit the bed with having Superman like just kind of laying low forever. Like how they had a couple of movies that didn't do as well as they wanted, and they just kind of shelved Superman. I've talked about it a lot, how if they treated Superman like they treat Wonder Woman, Superman would be just like the 80s Christopher Reeve Superman, which is fantastic, but we could have a modern twist. Yes, I'm an alien. Yes, I had to kill Zod. Yes, all this stuff. But then all of a sudden saying, you know what? I'm invincible, and I'm going to help the world, and have him act a little more like Captain America and less like a depressed alien that needs therapy. Like I think that's okay for a phase while he figures out how the world works, but then at the end of the day, whatever these idiots do, I'm invincible, and so let's just try to help them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be upset. Like, the company released a graphic of its global powerhouse brand, specifically highlighting DC's Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman franchises, along Warner's Game of Thrones and the Wizard World of Harry Potter and Discovery's Shark Week. I could pull this thing up real fast. There's a graphic that they showed. Woo. Yeah, look at those franchises. Let's focus on those, because that's big money right there, and you're screwing it up, gang. All right, I'm just going on and on about this, but Zaslav name-checked up-and-coming DC films, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, telling investors we are very excited about them. Director James Wan's sequel to 2018 Aquaman, which remains the highest-grossing DC movie, is scheduled to open theaters in March. When referring to DC, Zaslav said, we have done a reset. We restructured the business, with Disney's former chief creative officer, Alan Horn, having returned to Warner's as a consultant. Zaslav compared the structure to Marvel Studios, which is a good thing, which Horn and then Disney CEO Bob Iger put together very effectively, with Kevin Feige as chief content officer of the entire Marvel umbrella. We think that we could build a long-term, much stronger, sustainable growth business out of DC. And as a part of that, we're going to focus on quality. That's important, quality. Zaslav said just days after the company axed the nearly completed Batgirl, we're not going to release any film before it's ready. We're not going to release a film to make a financial quarter. We're not going to release a film if it's not working. The focus is going to be, how do we make each of these films in general as good as possible? And I could stop there. This goes on, and shifted strategy, ambition to bring Warner back, and they went on and on. This is investor call and all that. But all these things are things that needed to be said. And yes, this is his big, hey, I'm the new big boss in town. These are things that needed to be said. But it's all the stuff we've been wanting to hear. It's like, dude, we're gonna make good stuff, and to me, the idea that he's looking at, like, look, we had this guy that was working over with Marvel and Disney, and put together a plan, a long 10-year plan. That's what we're gonna do, instead of being like, oh, we don't want to be like Marvel. We're gonna be different. Nobody's saying it's not the Spurs or the Mavericks. It's not the 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys. You can be kind of the same.
Dallas Cowboys.
Kind of the same. And people always want to be like, oh, okay, they're the fun, uplifting movies. We're going to be the dark, dismal movies. You know what I mean? Like, and we do it different. And like, dude, you can be the same. You can just make good movies.
The thing is, it's like, it's having the same structure isn't the same as being the same. You know what I mean?
I understand, but people will say like, "Oh, you've got a connected universe. We don't want to be like Marvel because we're DC. We have to be different. So we're going to do just little pocket universes of little solo one-offs because we don't want to be like Marvel." And people look at the success of Marvel and they say, yeah, it's because we're not like them. We're different, dude. It's okay to be like them. We're different. We make shitty movies. They make good movies that are fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Like, and I'm not speaking for all of Warner Brothers movies. There's a lot of them that I love. I'm saying it's okay to make fun movies, and it's okay to have a connected universe, and it's okay to make solo movies. Like, people need to quit putting boundaries and flinching if, like, they've got this guy in here that's going to make a plan, like, and I don't think anybody's saying this. But we've all been saying, dude, make a fucking plan. What's the matter with you? But it's just weird. Human nature is funny. But what do you think, Derek?
No, this is fantastic news. The only thing, like saying, like, you can be the same. I believe Marvel and DC are different, and they're meant to be. I believe that's the main reason why Marvel Comics was even created in the first place, was to be separate from DC specifically. So I think the tones of the movie should feel differently. However, coming up with a plan the same way that Marvel Studios did is very smart. Because you're exactly like, they didn't have a plan. They wanted to make a shared universe, but they're like, all right, let's start with Superman. All right, we did that. People have been wanting to see a Batman versus Superman movie forever. So let's just do that. Snyder, write that up and lead that into a Justice League movie. What? Oh, but make sure you make it short, though. You can't be long. What? Okay. And then make a Justice League movie, but make it short. But then, like, don't worry about anyone's backstories. What?
And
like,
then after that,
on.
we'll release Wonder Woman and Aquaman afterward.
Yeah, and I mean, Marvel just had the Avengers. People are looking for super teams right now. It's huge. They made billions.
Yeah, but they made like 4 or 5 movies before their first team up movie, though. Can I please?
They made like 15 movies. Like, they made a lot of movies.
There's Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain. 5 solo movies before the Avengers came out. Like, we got Superman, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman. Didn't really lead into Justice League. It was her origin story. Suicide Squad didn't really lead into Justice League, so I don't count those 2. So we had 2, from my point of view, 2 that actually led into the Justice League movie.
Curtis, what do you think, man?
What I think is, I think they're figuring it out. I do like the plan. I think they're figuring it out, and they are doing what makes sense. Again, I said it a while back. Movies, a shared universe. Let's be honest. That's a show. It's a show. You've got all these showrunners that are making spectacular movies for these shared universes, and it makes sense because they know how to run a show. Okay, and whenever you're doing this, shared universe, like, it's just a long show. Shows are becoming longer, like we talked about with Stranger Things. Movies are becoming longer. Like, it's just this continuous show that you're watching, and it's fine if it takes a year or so in between. That's okay. What I think Disney should do, or no, not Disney, Warner
DC.
Brothers should do, DC, is now is the perfect time to do 52, the original 52. Get Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman out of there, okay? And maybe not 52 weeks. Let's do 52 months. That's about 4 years, okay? And introduce these shows where Wonder Woman, and like, you go to the DC universe, and Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman don't exist. They're pulled off into another universe, however they want to do it in the DCU. But and you prime the audience with these shows of all these other characters, so they can get to know them, and then after that, bam, the new, and or if you want to bring back Cavill, if you want to bring back Gal Gadot, if you want to bring back Batfleck, whatever it is. But it was 52 was a reset for the DC universe, and it was one of the best ones in my opinion. And because it got you to get involved in all of their other characters, but you just shut it down and say, and I think Flash is gonna go bye-bye. I just think so too. I think I've already said that, but and you get rid of them and you prime them with these shows on HBO Max, and then after 52 months, however they want to break it down, 52 episodes or 50, whatever. But, and then you reintroduce Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and they came out of it different, or they're new versions or whatever. But like, that's the thing, is that, like, you could, because DC has such, like, I mean, think about it. It's 60 years or 100, almost 100 years of DC Comics, and we're talking about the same 3 people. Like, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are awesome.
They're the pillars.
We got Aquaman in there finally. Yeah. And they are the pillars, and they need pillars. But I'm saying is that if you're going to build a new universe, like HBO Max and DC have success with their shows. They do. They already do. And so lead with that. don't worry about these. Like, build 3 good movies around these main pillars, and in 4 years ish, whatever, hopefully sooner, make those movies come out. But first, get a Blue Beetle movie that got canceled. Booster Gold.
Blue Beetle didn't get canceled, I don't think.
I think it did. I don't want to lie to you.
I think they're still doing it.
But whatever. Like, they don't need to be like prime the audience first. That's what Marvel is very good at now. It's like they had to do movies at first, but like now they're very good at with their shows, priming the audience for like what's coming. Like, and it's just like do that, something like that, and just introduce these characters. And some of them were already introduced. Like, let's be honest, with the older DC shows, like they're already in there kind of. So that's not going to be entirely new to fans, but like, and then boom, hit with the new stuff, and like it's it's just time. Like I don't. They gotta.
Yeah,
I don't see them bringing back old stuff to.
They could just like continue. Like, they've already got established stories for these 3. Just let them finish. Yep. Introduce everyone. Bring Batgirl back later. She can already be working for Batfleck at some point, and then go off of that and continue that story. I don't know.
Here's what they need to do. They need to have a Superman show up in Black Adam at the end. Then they need to immediately release news of another Superman movie that's uplifting and fun and does a lot of ass kicking and like a Christopher Reeve Superman movie. And then they also need to have another Wonder Woman where she's a super badass like she is in the Snyder Cut. That scene with her in the Snyder Cut, I'm like, dude, Zack Snyder needs to make the next Wonder Woman movie. Like, she is badass in the Snyder Cut, and that's how they need to have her. And then they keep on. Aquaman's going to kick ass. It'll be fun. And then you've got the pillar. Then you have the pillars, and then you have Batfleck coming back in Aquaman. Then you make another Batman movie with him. Or if you want to sideline him and just bring him in anytime they have a team up, or have him do cameos every once in a while.
He could totally be like the Nick Fury, the Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. And that would be awesome. And then you just got to make good movies. That's all you got to do. Because you got perfectly cast. It's a perfect Wonder Woman, a perfect Aquaman, a perfect Superman, a perfect Batman. They're fucking perfect, all of them. There's no reason that you can't make another movie for all of them and then make a Justice League movie with all of them that kicks ass. There's no reason.
But you got to do some kind of reboot, because do you really want what's his name?
You don't need Ezra Miller in there.
What's the guy for? No.
You just kind of forget about. You kind of forget about him.
The guy from Superbad, isn't he Lex Luthor, or the fake guy? You
just have a different villain. Just have a different villain.
I mean, no. Lex Luthor is Superman's main villain. You got to get Lex Luthor in there. You want that little shithead.
There's Brainiac and other. Yeah. There's other.
I mean, and why haven't they used Bizarro yet? Like, that's the thing. Like, there are. You're absolutely right, but you got to have Lex Luthor in there, and you don't want little crap face in there. Like,
I didn't mind
him.
You what?
I didn't mind him, but. Do you want to see him again? Like, I mean, really?
If they go with Snyder's original plan, I will stand by this. He had a plan. There was a long character development there, because that little scene of him at the end of the Snyder Cut, he seemed a little bit more grounded. It's possible it could have been better.
And here's what you do: you when it gets back to Batman. I mentioned all the other pillars that they need to make movies for. When it's Batman's turn, you do the Batman versus Deathstroke movie, and you let Ben Affleck direct it, because that's what you're going to do to entice him to come back. And he wants to do. Fuck yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be super awesome.
He already had a script written for it.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
And Joe Manganiello
make that movie.
Joe Manganiello talked about it a lot during when the Snyder Cut was being released. He's like, this is the best Batman script I've ever read. And I trust him. I trust Manganiello on that one.
Yeah, so what's the problem? Zaslav, listen to us, man. We know what's up, man. Do a kick-ass Superman movie, which I know you like Superman. Another Wonder Woman, handle her like they do in the Snyder Cut, because she's just badass and lovely and awesome and powerful and great. And then Batman versus Deathstroke. Everybody wants to see that. Keep doing what you're doing with Aquaman. You got Shazam is great. Black Adam, great. It looks like it's going to be cool. Everything. We're set. And then keep the Blue Beetle. Bring Leslie Grace back for Batgirl in a future thing. And we're set, man. What's the problem? Just
Don't
go
bring her
make.
back. We don't know. Just let it go. Like,
Why? What? You can have Batgirl. Just have her be in a quality film. That looks good. She looks great.
I actually think Batgirl was supposed to be in Ben Affleck's Batman movie, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. Bring her in. Bring her in. She's a great actor. She just happened to be in the poorly budgeted TV version of a Bat show, so you don't need to fault her on that.
that's I'm not faulting anybody. I'm just saying, like,
You just don't like Batgirl.
or just like I don't care about this movie. Like I was more like they're canceling Scoob. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I don't like yeah okay, you're in some like CW knockoff movie like that. Nobody like I
It
mean,
wasn't
sorry.
a CW, dude.
Right.
It was
Well, it
was
looked like
linked in with
CW.
the-
So
There you go. Well,
but so yeah, Blue Beetle is in danger.
Curtis
it's
just
like right
came-
on the.
Curtis just hates women superheroes. He's a misogynistic.
No, I love Miss. I like a lot of. I said
Did you
Miss
say you love
Marvel was
Miss
the most
Marvel?
complete show. I said it was the most complete show that in Phase 4.
It's okay, man. If you
Like-
just like guy superheroes, you don't like girl superheroes.
I just don't care about like I don't want the sidekick thing. Like don't do that. Like make
What do you
make
think
the main
about like?
heroes good first.
Do,
Like
do
what
you
you
like
what are
younger
we focusing on here?
versions where they do like Superboy or Iron Lad or things like that?
No, not particularly.
I don't really like that either. I'm like,
That's what I mean. Like it's just like you're making a whole movie about a sidekick and like
Superdog?
the main movies don't work. Like handle your shit first and then like like I get it with Marvel. Like yeah, Young Avengers should be the next week. They're starting to build their new like because they've already got like 22 movies in like 10 years or 15 years or whatever it is. Okay, start building your new audience. But with DC, it's like, what are you even doing here? Like your main characters are still in limbo, and you're making a Batgirl movie. Like, I mean, come on.
what about Bat Dog?
She's better as Oracle anyway. I don't know. I'm gonna go see Super Pets. So
Hell
I'll
yeah.
let you know once I see it.
Let us know. And guys, it's that time. Let's see what the last couple of comments are. We're gonna wrap it up because we got another show to do, and Derek's got to get out of here. He's like, man, why are we still here? I got auditions to get to. We need soups. That's what Jedi Master EJ says. Use Brainiac for soups. That's what I'm talking about. Make Batfleck movie replace Ezra and reboot Green Lantern with Jon Stewart. The talk show host, Jon Stewart. I think it'd be great. Just kidding. Guys, forget the new TV show that's about the Bat vehicles that look like cars. All right. Gang, thank you
There you go.
for sticking around. If you're still watching, I don't know why. You're like, I can't believe that you're still here. I'm not here.
Shut your mouth, Oscar. Shut up. This is your last chance.
I mean,
Laters, Gators.
late-
Say it.
Yeah.
Laters, gators.
Good boy.
Oscar, you can do
SOS.
SOS with your mouth if you need to.
Help! Help!
Go hide in the sand. They
Sign
can't
off,
hit you in the
Oscar. Sign off.
Be sure to subscribe.
There you go.
Hit the like button.
Yes.
Laters, gators. Help!
Oh God. I could